Hi guys, welcome back to my podcast. My podcast is called Grabbing Coffee with Arun, and my name is Arun Gala, where I talk to everyday people that are doing interesting things. And today, I've been trying to get Abbas. He lives in Oklahoma City. Abbas Jaffrey's, and he's into car sales. Just to kind of start off with, Abbas, welcome.
Thank you, Arun, for having me.
Well, to kind of start off with Abbas, let's say, for example, that I'm looking for a car and I come into your lot. So let's start from there, I guess. Kind of give me an idea of, uh, let's say, for example, that I want to look for a used car or a new car. Where do we start?
Sure. I think that people usually decide before they pull in, kind of what they're wanting to do. Um, I think that, you know, some very few people
Hmm.
choose new. The new car side of the dealership is the part that actually makes the least amount of money. The name there, whatever it is, Chevrolet, Hyundai, Ford, that's kind of to get people in. But whenever people come there, if they're wanting to look at new, it's a small part of the demographic. But I think that most people are looking at used, which, based on what I've seen with my experience, I've been doing it for about 18 years. Um, I think that going used is usually the smarter decision because when you're buying new, typically, you're taking a lot of depreciation. You're taking a hit for the depreciation when you're buying new. And so I think that you don't really get that when you go used.
But then with the used, you really have to look out to see the quality and where it's been and all that too, right?
Absolutely. And there's some great resources out there now. One of the more famous ones is Carfax. Another one's AutoCheck, which is a little more thorough. Um, I think those are great tools for anybody, including myself. That's kind of the first thing that I look for whenever I'm looking at a used car is the Carfax. There's some interesting details on the Carfax, like um, how often the person got their oil changed. If
Mhm.
they go somewhere reputable, then that's recorded on the Carfax.
Oh, that's pretty
Um,
cool.
yeah, and then just routine maintenance. You can see that there also. The biggest thing is you can see if it's been in an accident, or if there's any frame damage, or if it has a salvage title or anything like that.
Hmm.
Those are great resources for anybody that's looking for a used car.
So do you start with the VIN number? The VIN number is pretty important, right? For
Yeah,
every
the VIN
vehicle.
number's 17 digits, and a neat trick actually that we use is the eighth digit from the right is the year of the car.
Oh,
So
wow.
if it's a one, that's 2011, if it's a seven, that's 2017. But yeah, it's a 17 digit number. That's the vehicle identification number that you type into Carfax or AutoCheck and
So, boss, is
get
that the
your,
same with all the 50 states or the VIN number?
yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. So, what about if a car, like I know, like in Texas, we had that Harvey, a lot of cars were flooded. Will that auto check will tell you that too? If the car has been
Yes.
flooded?
Yeah, it will.
Oh, okay. And then let's say, for example, that I like a particular car, right? And so, how do I um, know if I can afford it or not?
Well, I mean, I think, so the average car payment right now on used cars, and this is Google, if you type it into Google, is 680. And then last
That's
I
a
checked
lot.
for new cars, it's about 780.
Hmm.
So, I mean, we have a saying in the car business where the best kind of car is one that's paid off.
Yeah,
Because the whole time you're driving a car, it's going to be depreciating.
right.
So, you're making payments on something that's depreciating, and there are events that can take place that can make the situation worse. Like if you get rear-ended or in any kind of accident, and that accident is reported to Carfax, now your car is worth significantly less, and you're making the same payment, for the amount that you signed up for. So if it's a
Mhm.
$50,000 car that you're buying brand new
Mm.
and you get into an accident, and now it's worth $32,000 because it's been in an accident, you're taking a huge hit on that depreciation and you're still making payments towards the 50,000.
Mm.
So that's another reason why, as somebody that's been around the business for a while, I think that leasing is an option, you know,
Mm.
or just honestly, I think paying cash for a Toyota or a Lexus is the best way to go. Those cars seem to hold their value very well, better than others, and they're reliable, and you don't have nearly as many issues. I don't work for Toyota. I never have, but I've just seen that when we trade for them or for buying them to, buying them for the dealership and reselling them, they really hold their value.
But when you lease a car, it's like you never own the vehicle, right? I mean, you can have that payment
Yeah,
for as long
that's
as,
the best.
go ahead.
Uh-huh. That's kind of the best part is that if you're leasing a vehicle, you don't own it. So now you're just, making your payment, and when you're done, you can just hand in the keys and walk away. You
So
know, Uh,
usually is the lease the payment is it less than as if you were to buy the car?
it just depends. It may be the same. There are a lot of leasing incentives now, incentivized payments that you see on the commercials around Christmas time, things like that. You can lock in one of those, or even if you're making the same payment, um, if you're leasing, you get and you like technology, it depends on the person. I don't think leasing is great for everyone, but if it's somebody who keeps up with the technology in the car, you can get a new car every 3 years. And if you
Uh,
get in an accident or something, well, now you don't own that asset, because you're leasing.
Right.
So I think it makes sense for a lot of people.
But even maintenance is done by somebody else too, right?
Right.
Maintaining the car and all that, the
That's
tires.
another great thing about leasing is during the term of the lease, you're going to have your dealer warranty because you can only lease new cars.
Right. What about like, okay, how do I determine, like you said earlier, how do I know, okay, which is the best route for me? Should I go to my own bank or should I go to the dealer's financing? What's the best route there? Not the
I
same for
think,
everybody, I'm sure, but
yeah, with dealers, because they're doing so much business with banks, they have a relationship with the bank,
mm, mm,
other than just checking in savings. So I think a wise way to go is to go to your own bank, see what rate they're going to, or credit union, and see what rate they offer you. You can go to a few different banks and see what the best rate is, and then go with that in hand to the dealership to see if they can beat that rate once you get to the financing portion.
is that like a in the in the homeowner business they call it like a pre-approved loan, right? Is that what they call it in the car business too?
Right. Same thing.
Oh, okay. And so, what about, tell me more about this pre-owned vehicles. What is that about? Like pre-certified or certified? I hear that term a lot, but what does that mean? Like,
Sure. So on average, the new car warranty is going to be either 5 years or 60,000 miles, whatever comes first.
mm-hmm,
Um, some brands have 10-year, 100,000 mile,
mm-hmm,
like the South Korean brands. Hyundai and Kia, they offer 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty. I think maybe Mitsubishi does also 10-year, 100. So when you're buying a new car, you get that on the powertrain.
mm-hmm,
So if you get a certified pre-owned car, that means it's a used car that has low miles, typically under 30,000 miles,
mm-hmm,
and it's less than, 3 or 4 years old to certify them. What
Mm-hmm.
it means is that so on that new car warranty, if it's 5 years, 60,000 miles, or 10-year, 100,000 miles, that doesn't transfer to the second owner.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh.
No. But if you buy a car that's certified pre-owned, then you get a warranty again,
Mm.
and the dealer has certified that car. So they've gone through it, made sure that they're willing to stand behind the car and warranty it for you. So it's a great way to get a used car with low miles that comes with a warranty. Usually, there's some other perks that come along with the warranty, like you get another bumper to bumper warranty. It'll be less than the 3-year 36 or whatever it is. It might be 2-year 24 month. You know,
Mm.
but now you have that again. You have the peace of mind of knowing that the dealer stands behind this car because it's certified. Also, every certified car is going to qualify for financing. One thing about used cars is that if you're somebody that has maybe subprime credit or even average credit, it's hard to buy something that's over 5 years old with over, let's say, 80,000 miles or 100,000 miles.
Right.
A lot of times, we're shopping, including myself, and you see a deal online and you're like, well, that car's great. It's a used Lexus and it's $14,000 or $12,000 or $10,000. I'll
Mm.
just finance that. Well, if you're somebody with subprime or even average credit,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to get anything financed that has high mileage or is older. Um, so with certified pre-owned, you don't run into those things. I mean, you can, they're easy to finance also.
But cars have gotten so crazy expensive about us. It's I mean, trucks are now like 70, $80,000, right?
Right. I mean, I think that a base model Kia K4 brand new is now about 23,000 and change, between 23 and 24,000. So if you want to go on the, lower end price wise, uh,
Is that a sedan
you're
or what is that?
yeah, it's like a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla, same
Oh,
size.
yeah. Hmm.
So, if you're looking at something like that, with Honda and Toyota, they've got such a reputation that they can ask the premium and people will pay it.
So how do I determine, say, like for somebody like me, for example, and I don't know too much about cars. I mean, I know like Toyotas and Hondas have brand names and all that. How do I determine, like, say, do I want a sedan? I know SUVs are pretty popular these days, right? Like the RAV4 and crossovers are pretty popular too. But how do I determine, like, um, what would be a good car for me?
So it just depends on your family, how big it is,
Right.
if you need something with a third row, if you need,
Mm-hmm.
let's say it's you, your wife, and some kids. If it's two kids, you can get away with a sedan or a two-row SUV. Now, if there's a third kid, then you know, you're probably going to need something with a third row
Mm-hmm.
because you may not be able to put three car seats in the second row. So if you're in a situation like that, then you might decide to go with a minivan or you might decide to go with a third row SUV. Also, there are other factors like if you're hauling things around, if you're buying mulch at Home Depot or Lowe's and you're driving that home, you might decide that you want an SUV or a truck. You know, if you're hauling a boat or hauling anything, then you want to have something that has towing capacity. So that might be a variable to look at. You know, they're different. For some people, maybe for young people, technology is big. So
Right.
they might decide to go with, a small car with a lot of technology like Bluetooth and hands-free,
Right.
um, st- streaming, Wi-Fi, things like that. Those are available in cars now.
I remember when my dad used to buy cars, we used to just look for it in the paper and go to the individual houses, you know. I'm sure
Hmm.
people don't do that anymore, right? They probably just go to Carfax,
Well, I mean, if you're looking for a car, I think people were using Craigslist for a long time. Now there's
Auto
places
Trader,
like Facebook Marketplace.
right?
When I was growing up, my dad used to buy cars on eBay,
Oh, really?
and I guess he was just getting lucky because they wouldn't have issues. But I was kind of surprised about that. Now that I grew up and I look back, he would just buy the car on eBay and it'd be here in a few days.
I think eBay still has them, though, right?
eBay does. Yeah, eBay Motors is huge.
Is it all certified? I guess you have to kind of check these cars out or whatever. But what about like people that sell cars on the internet? I'm sure you certain percentage of your sales are on the internet too, right?
Absolutely. Um, well, I think I'm glad that you asked that because when you're buying from a private party
Mm-hmm.
versus a dealer, the dealer can charge a premium because they have that car, they've run it through their service department. So if it needs tires or if there's any sort of issue like AC doesn't work
Mm-hmm.
or it needs paint work or whatever it is, the dealer gets all that fixed before they offer it. Most of the time. If you go to a reputable dealer, then that's what they do. They have a whole used car inspection process. So, when you're buying from somebody on the internet, you know, you'll probably have to buy your own Carfax, which is what I would encourage people to do,
Mm-hmm.
is if you have to pay $50 before you buy a car from somebody to see the vehicle history, I think it's absolutely worth it. And I
Mm-hmm.
encourage people to go to Carfax or AutoCheck, either one. But you're kind of taking a chance, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not always bad. There are people that just might need a bigger car or whatever reason. They're selling a great car that has good vehicle history. If you can find something like that, I think that's the way to go. But otherwise, I would go to a dealer.
Yeah, one last question, Abbas, is like, let's say, for example, I look at Carfax and I looked at AutoCheck, right? Do I need to, let's say I'm in Houston and say, for example, I like this car and I looked at both of those and they look okay, but do you recommend that I take it to a mechanic or there's no need for that because these two reports have already checked the car?
I think it's probably a good idea to, if you can, the best case scenario would be if you can take a mechanic or somebody that knows, about cars with you to look at the car. Otherwise, yeah, I think it's probably a good idea to take the car. If it rides funny or there's anything indicating that there's an issue, I think that's a good idea to take it to your own mechanic.
Yeah. And what about one other thing is like these used cars have gotten quite expensive, right? I mean, the price
Yeah,
has really gone up. Is
absolutely.
there a reason for that or
I mean, there was a chip shortage at one point,
right?
so that kind of was the beginning of it. Used car prices have gone up, but they've come down a little bit. They're not as bad as they were. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Used car prices have gone up. People's wages are the same, so it's making it tough. You
Yeah.
know.
I wonder how much is a Camry now. I remember I think I heard it was like close to 40,000. I think my dad paid like 25 some years a few years ago. So,
Yeah, I'm sure that it's in the 40s.
yeah. So
The
what
Toyotas bring a premium.
so what are some challenges that you run into in your business?
You know, maybe somebody comes in and is very excited to buy a car and thinks they can buy the car, and then there's some credit challenges. That's an
Uh,
issue.
mm-hmm.
You know, um, there's retail that's like, you go to CarMax or the Ford dealership and buy a used car or whatever, Toyota dealership and buy a new car or used car. But then there's another excuse me, there's another side to the business that's called buy here, pay here, or in-house financing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for people with subprime credit. And when you go to one of these places, they charge you a lot for the
Hmm.
for a used car, but sometimes they can get away with it because people are desperate to get a vehicle. Um, but at some point, the dealer might have to come repossess the vehicle.
Hmm.
So that's another side of it. It's not always um, people going to a retail store like Toyota or Honda and buying a car. Right now, the majority are people who have subprime credit that are kind of, buying used cars from these in-house financing places that are just kind of ripping their head off on the price and on the interest, but they're also taking a risk, you know,
Because you don't know
because
the quality of the car and all that too, right?
yeah, because the car is going to depreciate a lot. And if you're a smoker and you just live on a rough road and you're really going to put a lot of wear and tear on the car, on the interior and exterior, and then a dealer has to come repossess that car because you're not making your payments. Now, their cars depreciated a lot. So, I mean, there's retail and then there's in-house financing. I think a great option for people who are looking at in-house financing is Carvana.
Oh yeah,
That
I've
they
heard of that.
they work with people with challenge credit.
Hmm.
Um, Even if you've had issue, one thing that just disqualifies you from buying something at a car at a retail store is if you've had a repossession in the past
Hmm.
or if there's a bankruptcy or something. With these in-house financing places, they'll work with those people.
Right. I can't believe the average car note is like 600. That's a lot.
It's almost 700, it's 680 on a used car and close to 800 on a new car.
That was like a car note, a house note back in the 80s and 90s. You know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy. Anyway, so you're based out of Oklahoma, and was there anything else that you want to tell my audience, or I think we covered pretty much everything, right?
Yeah, I think we've covered it all.
Yeah. Okay, if you guys want to get a hold of me, my email, my number is 832-687-2840. Due to scam calls, please text me if you need to talk to me. And Abbas, thank you very much for your for all the information that you've given me. And uh, thank you for your time, Abbas.
Absolutely. Thank you,
And
Aaron.
thanks for the conversation. Okay, take care.
You too.
Bye.